The research station Aurelius 9 floated silently above Jupiter's swirling storms, its metal surface glowing under the orange clouds. Inside the station, everything was cold, perfect, and controlled, just like Lieutenant Kara Lunai, a scientist from the Varelian race, her mind sharper than steel, her heart locked behind logic and discipline. She believed in science, in order, and in one golden rule: never mix emotions with experiments, especially not when humans were involved. Today was different. Today she had been assigned her first human subject, Captain Elias Ward. He had arrived only a day ago from Earth, tall, confident, wearing that familiar human smile that seemed to disarm everyone. The Varelians considered humans unpredictable, dangerous even. They were known to carry strange biochemical signatures, pheromones, that could influence behavior across species. Kara never believed such things. Until now. The experiment chamber was a clean white dome, filled with sterile air. Elias stood calmly inside, his hands behind his back. "So, Lieutenant," he said with a half grin, "you're the one studying what makes us human?" Kara adjusted her translator device, ignoring his tone. "I am studying why your kind reacts emotionally to biological triggers. Captain, please remain still, the air composition will change." She activated the containment system, releasing a faint vapor, a controlled dose of synthesized human pheromones. The chamber sensors blinked softly, measuring every molecule. For a few seconds, everything seemed normal. Elias watched her with curiosity while she typed commands into her console. Then a sudden warning flashed red. "Containment seal breached." The AI voice echoed, "Warning, airborne leak detected." Kara froze, her breath caught. A tiny hiss sounded near her mask. A faint mist escaped into her side of the chamber. She blinked, confused, then felt it, warmth spreading through her chest like liquid fire. Her pulse quickened, her skin tingled as if her own blood had turned to light. Elias saw her stumble. "Lieutenant? Are you okay?" She gripped the console, her silver eyes flickering into shades of crimson. "Do not approach," she whispered, but her voice trembled. The air felt thicker, heavier, her senses sharpened beyond reason. She could hear his heartbeat, smell his breath through the barrier. Every sound became louder, every color brighter. Her mind screamed to resist, but her body moved on instinct. She pressed her hand against the glass divider between them. The chamber sensors went wild, registering high temperature and energy spikes. Elias frowned. "What's happening to you?" I inhaled it," she gasped. "The pheromone, it's not supposed to affect me like this." Her breathing became uneven, sweat rolled down her neck, her alien physiology reacted violently, shifting her energy patterns. The veins along her skin began to glow faint blue. She tried to steady herself but fell to her knees. Elias broke protocol, slamming the emergency override. The door hissed open, alarms screaming. "Unauthorized entry detected," the AI repeated. But he didn't care. He rushed to her, ignoring the warnings. He caught her just as she started to fall completely. Her body was burning hot to the touch, yet trembling as if she were freezing. Her fingers clutched his arm, nails digging into his skin. "You shouldn't be near me," she said. "I can't control it." Elias held her tighter. "I'm not leaving you like this." The contact sent a strange current through both of them. Kara gasped as the temperature sensors spiked. Energy rippled between their bodies like static lightning. For a moment, their heartbeat synchronized. The AI stuttered. "Warning, biosignal overlap detected." Kara's vision blurred. She saw flashes, images not her own, memories of a blue sky, laughter, a planet called Earth. Her kind never experienced memory blending. It was impossible, yet here she was, seeing his world through his mind, smelling the sea, hearing human voices, feeling something warm inside her chest that she didn't understand. "Lieutenant, stay with me," Elias said, shaking her lightly. But she couldn't focus. Her mind spiraled between pain and something dangerously close to desire. Her voice came out soft, trembling. "Your scent, it's changing me." "What do you mean?" he asked. But she didn't answer. Her eyes turned fully crimson now, and her skin shimmered as her body temperature rose. Her alien heart struggled to maintain rhythm. The medbay team burst through the door, pulling Elias away. "She's in biological overload," one shouted. Kara screamed, a sound that made the metal walls vibrate. Her body arched as streams of biolight surged through her veins. Then everything went silent. Her body went still, floating slightly off the floor in zero-gravity mode as the containment shield reactivated. Her silver hair spread around her face like liquid moonlight. Elias watched helplessly through the glass as the med team tried to stabilize her. Subject Kara Lunai, vitals unstable, the AI announced, unknown reaction to human pheromones. But Elias knew it was more than that. Something had awakened in her, a force no one understood. Her last words before blacking out echoed in his mind. "What have you done to me, human?" As the chamber lights dimmed, the station AI whispered its final report of the night. Subject condition, transitioning. Elias stood there, silent, his heart pounding, unaware that this was not an accident. It was evolution beginning to rewrite history itself. When Kara opened her eyes again, she wasn't sure if she was still alive. The soft hum of machines surrounded her, cool blue lights blinked above her bed, and her body felt strange, too light, too hot, too aware. She tried to move, but a wave of weakness swept through her veins, the room spun slowly, and her own heartbeat echoed in her ears like thunder underwater. She was in the medbay, sealed inside a transparent stasis chamber. The air was thick with sterilizing mist, and her wrists were covered with glowing medical bands that monitored her vitals. On the other side of the glass, doctors and scientists whispered in panic. Their faces looked blurred through her fading vision. "She's mutating," someone said. "No, she's adapting," another voice replied. "Her DNA is rewriting itself," a third whispered, "and it's using the human's pheromone as a template." Kara didn't understand half of it. All she knew was that something inside her body had broken, and rebuilt itself differently. Her skin shimmered with faint light, her senses burned sharper than before. She could hear footsteps from the other room, the vibration of power lines, even the slow rhythm of her own heartbeat. Then she heard something else, faint, but clear, a voice, human and warm. "Kara, can you hear me?" It was Elias, standing outside the glass. His uniform was torn from earlier, his eyes filled with worry. She turned her head slowly. "You shouldn't be here," her voice cracked. "They'll call you infected." He shook his head. "Let them, I'm not leaving." Her chest ached when he said that. The word leaving suddenly carried weight she didn't recognize. Her species was logical, emotionless, trained from birth to remove attachment. But now every emotion she had suppressed was clawing its way out. She felt heat rise to her face, embarrassment, fear, something else she dared not name. The doctors argued outside. "We must isolate him too. The human's presence is intensifying her mutation." But the AI disagreed, its cold voice cutting through the noise. "Correction, subject Kara's vitals stabilize when human Elias Ward is near." Everyone went silent, even Kara froze, her heart skipped. "What?" she whispered. Elias stepped closer to the glass. "Maybe it means I can help." But the scientists refused. "No. This connection is unnatural, she could be dangerous." The AI continued. Analysis, hybrid bond forming, biological resonance at 92%. Kara's blood ran cold. Hybrid bond? That was a myth, something from ancient Varelian archives. It meant two life forms were syncing on a genetic level, something forbidden since their ancestors tried it and failed thousands of years ago. The last time it happened, an entire city had burned under psychic storms. Her body began to shake, fear flooded her mind. "Elias, get away," she said. "If this is real, I could hurt you." He smiled softly. "You already did," he said, showing a faint mark on his wrist where she'd gripped him before. The skin shimmered faint blue, just like hers now. "But maybe it's not a wound, it's proof." The medbay lights flickered suddenly, her energy output spiked again, and the alarm screamed. The AI announced, "Subject entering phase 2 of transformation." Pain tore through her like lightning. She arched her back, gasping for air, blue veins glowing under her skin. Her heartbeat synced with the station's hum, faster and faster. Elias shouted, "Do something." The doctors backed away, terrified. "Her body is merging two genomes. We can't stop it." But then something unexpected happened. Her eyes glowed with both colors now, silver and red swirling together, and her breathing steadied. The pain faded into calm, like waves after a storm. Kara floated slightly above the bed, gravity bending around her body. Her long hair shimmered like starlight, and energy rings pulsed around her chest. The AI spoke again. "New classification detected. Hybrid entity, unknown origin." Elias approached the glass, pressing his palm against it. "Kara," he whispered. Her eyes met his, and for the first time, she didn't look alien, she looked human, fragile, alive, scared, and beautiful. "I can feel you," she said softly, "in my mind, in my blood." He nodded. "Then you're not alone." Suddenly, the council insignia flashed on the main screen. A cold, deep voice filled the room. "This is Council Command. You are ordered to terminate the experiment immediately. The subject is a contamination risk." Kara's heart dropped. "They'll destroy me," she whispered. Elias clenched his fists. "Over my dead body." Before the transmission could continue, Kara reached out with her glowing hand. The glass between them rippled like water and cracked slightly under her touch. Everyone in the room stepped back in shock. Her new energy signature broke the containment field's quantum barrier. The AI registered the impossible. Containment breached, but stable energy detected. Elias stared in disbelief. "You just—" "I didn't mean to," Kara said, tears forming in her eyes. "It just happened." The alarms blared again. Security approaching. Elias turned to the door. "They're coming for you." Kara's voice trembled. "Then we run." In that moment, as she looked at him through the broken glass, Kara felt something she had never felt in her life. Trust, the forbidden emotion her people called the root of all chaos. But she no longer cared. Her body was changing, her mind was awakening, and her destiny had already begun to rewrite itself. And as the soldiers' boots thundered down the hall, Kara whispered to the human who had started it all. "Elias, whatever happens next, don't let me forget who I was." He smiled faintly. "Only if you promise not to forget who you're becoming." The door burst open, red lights filled the corridor, and the two of them stood on opposite sides of shattered glass, their fates already entwined. The universe had seen many wars, but it had never witnessed this. The birth of something both impossible and unstoppable. The alarm lights still flashed red across the medbay corridor, but inside Kara's mind, everything had gone silent. She could feel Elias's heartbeat echoing in her head like a second pulse, and she didn't know if it frightened or comforted her. The soldiers' voices came closer, heavy boots thudding on metal. "Containment breach, prepare for neutralization," one shouted. Elias looked at Kara, her face pale but glowing with faint blue veins under her skin. She was standing barefoot on the cold floor, the broken glass from her chamber floating gently in zero gravity around her. "Stay behind me," Elias said, raising his stun rifle. Kara shook her head, her voice calm yet trembling. "They'll shoot you first, human or not. You're part of the contamination now." He smiled faintly. "Then I guess we're contaminated together." The door hissed open. 3 armored guards entered, weapons drawn. "Subject Kara Lunai," the leader barked. "By order of the Varelian Council, you are to be detained for biological cleansing." Kara felt something flare inside her chest, a deep surge of heat and energy. Her eyes shifted from silver to red. "You call it cleansing," she whispered. "I call it fear." The air cracked with invisible pressure. The guards froze mid-step, unable to move. Their armor systems glitched as invisible waves radiated from Kara's body. Elias stared in disbelief. "You're controlling them." "I didn't mean to," she said, her voice breaking. "It's their minds. I can feel them. I can stop them from hurting us." She waved her hand slowly, and the guards dropped their weapons and collapsed, unconscious but alive. The lights flickered again. The RE's voice trembled through the speakers. "Warning, psychic resonance detected, containment field integrity failing." Elias took her hand. "We have to leave, now." Kara nodded, still shaking. "But where will we go?" He looked at her, those crimson-silver eyes glowing in the red light. "Anywhere they can't find us." They ran through the corridor together, sirens blaring behind them. As they passed through the docking bay, Kara's energy pulses made doors open automatically, sensors malfunctioned, and cameras melted from overload. Every system reacted to her like she was rewriting reality with her presence. Elias guided her toward a small scout ship docked at the edge. "We can take this," he said. "It's fast and unregistered." Kara hesitated. "If I leave this station, I'll be declared an exile." "You already are," he said, "and so am I." When the hatch sealed behind them, silence returned for a moment. Only the hum of the ship's engines filled the air. Kara sat down slowly, her hands trembling. She could still feel the psychic echoes of everyone she had just touched. Their fear, their confusion, their pain, it made her chest ache. "I didn't want to hurt anyone," she whispered. Elias knelt beside her. "You didn't, you saved both of us." But deep inside, she wasn't sure. The connection between her and Elias had grown stronger. Her mind brushed against his thoughts without trying. She could hear his memories like whispers in the wind, his mother's voice, the sound of rain on earth, the feeling of loneliness in space. When she looked at him, he looked back with quiet understanding. "You can hear me, can't you?" he asked softly. She hesitated, then nodded. "Your thoughts are loud, Elias, humans feel too much." He smiled. "Maybe that's our strength." For a moment, neither spoke. The stars outside stretched into long silver lines as the ship entered warp, and then, something changed. Her pulse steadied when he was near, her breathing matched his rhythm. It wasn't just psychic, it was physical. Their biological patterns had synchronized completely. The ship's onboard AI broke the silence. Unidentified phenomenon detected, cross-species energy link confirmed. Kara frowned. "Energy link?" Elias looked at her. "It means we're connected, literally." Her skin glowed faintly brighter, the light pulsing in sync with his heartbeat. She whispered, "If one of us dies, the other might too," he finished. Silence followed again, heavy and frightening. Hours passed as they drifted between the moons of Saturn. The ship's power began to fade. The system was designed for short missions, not escapes. Kara stared out the viewport, watching the storms of Saturn twist like giant serpents. "Do you ever regret being human?" she asked suddenly. Elias chuckled softly. "All the time, but not right now." She looked at him with curiosity. "Why not now?" He turned toward her, his voice low. "Because being human means I can care about you, even when I shouldn't." Her breath caught. Her kind didn't use the word care the way humans did. It was too close to something dangerous, something sacred. "You shouldn't," she whispered. "The bond isn't love, it's survival." "Maybe," he said, "but survival has never felt like this before." Before she could respond, the ship's sensors blared. "Incoming transmission from Council Fleet, pursuing vessel detected." Kara's heart tightened. "They found us." Elias jumped to the controls. "Hold on." But before he could boost the thrusters, Kara placed her hand on the console. Her energy flowed through the ship's circuits like living lightning. The engines roared to life, far beyond normal limits. The AI struggled to keep up, warning, engine output exceeding safety parameters. Kara's voice was steady now, glowing with power. "Then it's time they see what happens when fear meets evolution." The ship leapt into the void like a comet, leaving trails of blue-red light behind. The Council ships followed, firing beams that curved through space like spears of fire. Inside the small craft, Elias and Kara sat shoulder to shoulder, the world shaking around them, their minds and hearts linked in perfect rhythm. The impossible bond between human and alien had already been formed, and no Council law could undo it now. For centuries, the universe had forbidden such connections, calling them unnatural, dangerous, heretical. But in that tiny ship fleeing through the stars, two beings had proven the truth. That sometimes the most dangerous bond is also the most beautiful. And as the light of pursuit faded behind them, Kara closed her eyes and whispered, "They'll never understand us." Elias smiled quietly. "Then we'll make them try." The endless black of space stretched around the small ship like an ocean with no shore. Stars glimmered coldly, indifferent to the two fugitives running for their lives. Inside the cockpit, the soft blue glow of the console reflected on Kara's face. Her eyes, once pure silver, now shimmered between crimson and gold, a strange fusion of human warmth and alien fire. She hadn't slept in 2 days. Her body no longer needed rest the same way. Her pulse ran faster, her mind sharper, and her senses so heightened that she could feel the vibrations of approaching ships long before the radar caught them. "They are close again," she said quietly, staring into the void. Elias glanced up from the controls, exhaustion dark under his eyes. "How close?" "Too close," she replied. "They've released hunter drones." He swore under his breath, typing commands into the flight system. "We can't outfly drones forever." Kara leaned forward, her voice calm but distant. "They're tracking me, not the ship. My energy signature is unique now. They'll chase me across galaxies if they must." He turned to her sharply. "Then we'll make sure they can't." The ship's lights flickered as it dove into the rings of Saturn. Ice shards and rock debris spun around them, smashing against the shields like silver bullets. Kara raised her hand, eyes glowing. The energy around her pulsed outward, forming a faint barrier that reinforced the failing shields. Elias stared, half in awe, half in disbelief. "You're keeping the ship together with your mind." She smiled faintly. "Maybe evolution has its uses." Behind them, 3 council drones zipped through the debris field, mechanical wings slicing through space like blades. They fired plasma bolts that burned trails across the black void. Elias twisted the ship sharply, diving into a narrow gap between 2 spinning asteroids. "If we survive this, I'm never complaining about turbulence again." Kara laughed softly, a sound strange and beautiful in the chaos, but her laughter faded as a psychic wave rippled through her senses. Her expression turned grave. "They've sent a command ship." Moments later, the darkness behind them erupted into light. A massive silver vessel, 5 times their ship size, appeared from warp. The council's insignia glowed across its hull like a cold warning. A voice crackled through the comms, deep and commanding. "This is Admiral Varen of the Varelian Council, Lieutenant Kara Lunai. You are hereby charged with biological corruption and treason. Surrender immediately, or you will be erased." Elias leaned toward the MIC, his tone calm but sharp. "With respect, Admiral, your definition of corruption seems outdated." The Admiral's voice turned colder. "And who speaks for you, human? You are a contaminant, not a participant." Elias smirked. "Then consider me her partner in contamination." Kara placed her hand on his arm. "Elias, please, they'll destroy you for this." He turned to her, eyes steady. "They already decided that the moment I touched you." The comms fell silent for a heartbeat, then the Admiral's voice returned, filled with fury. "So be it, execute them." The Council ship's cannons lit up. The first energy beam tore across the rings, grazing their hull. The ship spun violently, alarms screaming. Elias fought the controls. "We can't take another hit like that." Kara closed her eyes, focusing on the rhythm of his heartbeat, the hum of the engines, the pulse of energy around her. She whispered, "Trust me." Her body began to glow brighter, energy pouring from her hands into the ship's frame. The AI crackled. "Warning, power levels exceeding capacity." Elias shouted, "Kara, you'll burn yourself out." But she didn't stop. Her voice came through, calm and fierce. "They fear what they don't understand. It's time they learn." The ship burst from the debris field like a comet, trailing waves of golden-red energy. Kara's energy field expanded outward, disrupting the drone network. The smaller ships short-circuited instantly, their engines dying. "Target lock lost." The council officer's voice echoed over the comms. Admiral Varen growled, "Impossible, how is she doing that?" Inside the cockpit, Kara's breathing grew shallow, her glowing skin flickered between light and shadow. "I can't hold it for long," she said softly. Elias steadied her shoulders. "Then we find somewhere to hide, just a little longer." They flew into the shadow of Titan, the golden moon's thick atmosphere swallowing them whole. The ship finally slowed, trembling, engines coughing in exhaustion. For a while, there was only silence, the sound of Kara's heavy breathing and the slow beeping of damaged systems. Elias looked at her, hair tangled, face glowing faintly under sweat. Her eyes were half closed, but she still smiled weakly. "You're insane," he whispered. "You just fought a council fleet alone." Her smile widened slightly. "And we're still alive." But deep down, they both knew survival wouldn't last long. The council would send more ships, stronger ones. They would not stop until Kara was dead or captured. Elias leaned back, staring at the cracked ceiling. "We need answers. Kara, why is this happening to you? Why would human pheromones trigger this?" Her eyes opened slowly, something ancient flickering within them. "It's not random," she said quietly. "It's evolution's memory. My species once tried to merge with humans long before recorded history. It failed then, but somehow it's starting again." Elias frowned. "You're saying this was meant to happen?" She nodded slowly. "Maybe the universe doesn't make mistakes. Maybe it just waits for the right pair to finish what it started." Outside, lightning flickered through Titan's clouds, casting silver light over their small ship. For the first time in centuries, a Varelian and a human shared the same fate, hunted, bound, and evolving into something new. Kara leaned back, eyes heavy. her voice fading into a whisper. They call it corruption, Elias. He reached for her hand, holding it gently. Then let them, because corruption might just be what saves us all. As Titan storms raged outside, the two fugitives sat in the dim light, unaware that across the galaxy, the Council had declared a new order. All humans are now classified as biological threats. The hunt had officially begun. Titan's thick orange clouds rumbled with lightning as the small ship drifted low through the methane mist. Its hull was scarred, its power cells almost dead, and its passengers, Kara and Elias, hadn't slept in what felt like days. Inside, the air was cold and quiet. Elias sat by the console, his face pale in the dim glow of emergency lights. Kara was resting against the wall, her skin still faintly luminous, the glow pulsing with her heartbeat. She looked peaceful now, but he knew the storm outside wasn't half as dangerous as the one growing inside her. When she finally spoke, her voice was soft but heavy with thought. "They're afraid, Elias." He turned to her. "The Council?" She nodded slowly. "They've always known something like this could happen, but they buried it." Elias frowned. "Buried what?" Kara rose weakly, walking toward the main panel. Her fingers brushed over the holographic controls, and hidden files appeared, old, encrypted archives marked classified, ancestral era. "I found this in the station before we escaped," she said, "records from before our recorded history, when Varelians weren't as perfect as they pretend to be." The first file flickered open, showing grainy images, tall alien figures, their skin shining with silver light, standing beside humans in ancient armor. The two races fought side by side against something vast and dark. Elias blinked in disbelief. "That's impossible, humans never left Earth that far back." Kara's expression darkened. "Unless the Council erased that part of your history too." The next image showed chaos, cities burning, storms twisting across alien skies. One figure stood in the center, a woman with eyes half human, half Varelian, her body radiated energy like a star. "She was the first hybrid," Kara whispered. "The bridge between our species. She could reshape matter, heal, even alter DNA through touch, but the Council feared her. They said she threatened the natural order." Elias stared at the projection. "So they killed her?" Kara nodded. "They didn't just kill her, they wiped every record, banned any connection between humans and Varelians, and rewrote evolution itself. They told us that humans were primitive, emotional, dangerous." She looked down at her glowing hands. "But it was never danger they feared, it was potential." Silence filled the cabin, broken only by the hum of the dying engines. Elias whispered, "Then what's happening to you? This change, it's not an accident." "No," she said quietly, "it's continuation. The same evolution they tried to stop is beginning again, through me." Her eyes met his, and for a heartbeat, Elias felt something pass between them. Memories not his own, flashes of ancient battles, hybrid children, the same woman from the archive standing under a dying sun, whispering one word, "Return." Elias gasped, stepping back. "I saw her." Kara's lips parted in shock. "You saw her too?" He nodded. She said, "Return, what does that mean?" Kara's voice trembled. "It means she's still inside us, her consciousness, her code. The hybrid genome isn't just biological, it's memory." She touched her temple, her voice barely a whisper. "She's guiding us." The ship's AI flickered to life suddenly, its tone glitched and uneasy. "Warning, encrypted signal detected, unknown origin." A low static filled the room, followed by a soft, almost human voice. "Kara Lunai, descendant of the forbidden line, the seed has awakened." Elias froze. "Who's that?" Kara closed her eyes, her breath quickening. "It's her." The hologram on the console shifted into the same glowing woman from the archives. Her form was translucent, made of light and memory. "You carry what they tried to destroy," the hologram said. "Humanity is not a mistake. It is the missing half of the universe's code." Elias's voice trembled. "Why us?" "Because," the hologram said gently, "only when logic meets emotion can evolution rise beyond fear." The light faded, leaving them in silence once again. Kara sank to her knees, shaking. "She's real, Elias, all of it is real." He knelt beside her, placing a hand on her shoulder. "Then maybe it's time the universe learns the truth." But before they could speak again, the radar screamed to life. Incoming fleet, 12 council vessels, approaching at warp. Elias jumped to the controls. They found us again. Kara looked out at Titan's storms, her eyes glowing brighter. Then we show them what they feared most. She stood tall, her aura flaring like a living sun, the energy around her bent light itself, rippling through the ship. Elias shouted over the roaring noise, "What are you doing?" "Becoming what I was meant to be," she said, voice calm amid chaos, the truth made flesh. The AI panicked, energy overload. Containment impossible. But Kara's power surged outward, spreading through Titan's atmosphere like a pulse of awakening. The council ships froze mid-flight as their sensors short-circuited, their systems blinded by her signal. In that moment, Kara heard thousands of voices, some alien, some human, all connected through a single spark of shared existence. "This is the truth they buried," she whispered. "We were never enemies, we were always fragments of the same design." Elias reached for her hand through the light. "Kara, come back." She turned to him, eyes glowing with both fire and tears. "I'm here, Elias, always." Outside, Titan's clouds exploded in radiant color. The council ships fell back, their systems dead, their leaders terrified of what they had just witnessed. Kara collapsed into Elias's arms, her glow fading, but her voice steady. "It's only the beginning," she said softly. "Now they'll know evolution doesn't ask for permission." And far beyond Titan's orbit, the council watched the impossible energy signature bloom across their screens, a signal older than their civilization, marked with a name erased from history. The news spread through the galaxy like wildfire. From the frozen moons of Neptune to the glowing halls of the Varelian High Council, every screen broadcast the same words. Humanity is hereby declared a universal biological threat. Exterminate on sight. Across the stars, panic ignited. Varelian fleets assembled in orbit. Drones swarmed like locusts. Entire human colonies went dark overnight. The war of species had begun. In the small hidden base deep under Titan's ice, Elias stood over a holotable filled with static war maps. His jaw tightened as red dots, council ships, spread across the system like blood. Kara stood beside him, her skin faintly glowing, her eyes no longer the cold silver of her kind nor the warm brown of humanity. They were something else, alive, radiant, and impossible. She was changing again. Every day, her energy grew stronger, more unstable, and more human. And every day, she drifted a little further from who she used to be. "They are attacking Earth," Elias said quietly. "Half the defense satellites are already gone." Kara's fingers clenched against the table. "They're afraid, Elias. They think if they destroy you, they can stop me." He looked up at her. "Can they?" Her lips curved into a faint, sad smile. "Not anymore." The air trembled slightly around her. Her emotions, sadness, anger, love, now had physical weight. The energy field surrounding her pulsed with each heartbeat, bending light, whispering static into the comms. She could sense the council fleets from light years away, feel their intent like a burning star. "They are coming here," she murmured. "Varen is leading them himself." Elias clenched his fists. "Then we fight." Kara's gaze softened. "You don't understand. This isn't just a battle. It's extinction or rebirth." Hours later, the void outside Titan erupted with light. 100 Varelian ships cut through the storm clouds, their weapons glowing like suns. Inside the base, alarms wailed. Elias loaded his rifle, though he knew it was useless against what was coming. Kara walked to the airlock, her long hair rippling in the energy field around her. "Stay behind me," she said. Elias caught her wrist. "No. I stay with you." She looked at him for a long second, then nodded. When the airlock opened, the world turned white. Outside, the council fleet hovered above Titan's surface. Admiral Varen's voice echoed through every speaker, his tone cold as ice. "Lieutenant Kara Lunai, you have defied the will of the Varelian Council. Surrender now, and your death will be quick." Kara stepped into the storm, her feet sinking into Titan's golden dust. The wind wrapped around her like a living cloak. Her voice carried across the comms, steady and calm. "You call it order. I call it fear. You tried to silence evolution. But you can't silence truth. Her eyes glowed bright red gold. The wind stopped. Then everything moved at once. The first volley of plasma fire screamed down and vanished before hitting the ground. The energy bent, curved, and disappeared into nothing. Kara raised her hand, her aura flaring like a star. You want a war, she whispered. Then let it be the last one. She released the energy. Light consumed the sky. The first wave of ships shattered instantly, metal melting into stardust. Others spun out of control, their systems fried by the pulse that rippled through space. Elias fell to his knees, shielding his face from the radiance, shouting over the roar, Kara! Stop! You'll kill yourself. But she didn't hear him. Her voice echoed inside his mind, soft and distant. They made me this way, Elias. I am the weapon they feared. I am the cure they denied. On the flagship, Admiral Varen watched the impossible unfold. She's rewriting physics, one officer stammered. Varen's hands trembled, but his voice stayed cold. Fire the quantum core. The ship's cannon charged, a weapon capable of erasing an entire moon. Elias saw the energy spike on the scanner. Kara, it's coming. She turned toward the sky, her eyes burning like twin stars. Then we end it here. The cannon fired. The world went silent. Kara's body flared brighter than any sun. The beam hit her directly and broke apart like glass. The energy rebounded in every direction, tearing the clouds apart, shaking the crust of Titan itself. Varen's ship disintegrated in a blinding flash. When the light finally faded, the battlefield was quiet. The Varelian fleet was gone. Only fragments drifted in the cold void. Kara floated in the air, unconscious, her aura fading, her body motionless like a fallen star. Elias ran to her, catching her before she touched the ground. Kara, stay with me, he whispered, his voice breaking. Please. Her eyes opened weakly, glowing faint gold. Did we stop them? He nodded, tears cutting through the dust on his face. You did. You saved everyone. She smiled faintly. No, Elias. We did. Her body flickered, the light inside her dimming. The energy's too much, she whispered. I can't contain it. He held her tighter. Then I'll contain it for you. He leaned forward, pressing his forehead against hers, and in that moment their energy merged, one human, one alien, one heartbeat. The sky rippled above them, forming a new light, neither red nor blue, but gold. The war had ended, but something greater had begun. In the silence that followed, the Council's surviving ships broadcast a single message across the galaxy. The hybrid lives. The battlefield above Titan had gone silent. Where once the sky burned with plasma fire and death, now there was only calm, a strange, holy quiet that wrapped the ruined horizon like a shroud. Fragments of ships drifted in orbit, glowing faintly in the golden haze. And at the heart of the storm, in a crater of glass and light, two figures lay still. Elias opened his eyes first. Every muscle in his body screamed in pain, the air burned cold in his lungs. He turned his head and saw her, Kara, lying beside him, her hair spread out like strands of light, her skin faintly shimmering with gold and silver veins. He crawled toward her, shaking. Kara, please, wake up. No answer. He placed his hand on her chest. No heartbeat, no warmth, only the faint hum of distant energy. He felt something break inside him, something deeper than fear. He whispered, Don't leave me like this, not after everything. The ground beneath them trembled softly. Then, a pulse, faint but alive. Kara's chest rose once, her eyes flickered open. But they weren't red anymore, nor silver, nor gold, they were all three at once. Alive with something ancient, vast, and kind. Elias, she whispered, her voice soft but echoing like wind in eternity. He froze, staring at her. You're alive. She smiled faintly, not as I was. When she stood, the ground beneath her feet shifted, glowing where she walked. The dust turned to light, the air itself shimmered. Elias took a step back in awe. Kara, what happened to you? Her voice was calm. but her words carried a power that made the air hum. "The war ended when I died," she said, "and something else took my place." He frowned. "What do you mean?" "I became what they feared most," she said quietly, "the balance they erased, the bridge they destroyed." She turned her face to the rising light beyond Titan's clouds. "I am not Varelian anymore, and I am not human." Her eyes softened. "I am what comes after." Above them, the broken satellites and shattered debris began to move. Bits of metal floated upward, joining together in slow motion. Elias watched in disbelief. "You're rebuilding them?" Kara nodded. "No, not rebuilding. Healing. Everything in the universe wants to survive, Elias, even machines." The ships remains aligned into new forms, smaller, softer, glowing with neutral light. The AIS of both human and Varelian origin merged their signals, speaking as one. New directive established, coexistence. Elias felt his throat tighten. "You did it," he said. "You ended the war." Kara looked at him, smiling sadly. "Wars never end, Elias, they just change their name." She reached out and touched his face. "But this time, maybe we'll start right." He took her hand, holding it like something sacred. "And what about you?" Her expression softened. "I can't stay." His heart sank. "What? Why not?" "The energy that keeps me alive, it's not stable here. I'm connected to everything now. I feel every heartbeat, every planet, every dying star. It's too much." He stepped closer, shaking his head. "We'll find a way." She placed a finger on his lips, her touch warm and electric. "You already have, Elias, you found me." The air shimmered again as she lifted slightly off the ground, her body glowing brighter. Her voice grew quieter, softer. "You once said humans feel too much. That was your strength. That's what saved me. Don't let them lose that." He stared up at her, tears blurring his vision. "Kara, I can't lose you again." Her eyes met his one last time, and for a second, everything stopped. Even the winds held their breath. "You won't," she whispered. "I'm not gone, I'm everywhere now." Light burst outward, silent and infinite, washing over Titan, over the fleet debris, over the stars themselves. Every ship, every being, every signal felt it. A soft warmth, not blinding, not burning. Just human. Across the galaxy, soldiers dropped their weapons as messages appeared on their screens. Words no one had written, but everyone read. "Fear ends where understanding begins." On Earth, children woke from dreams of golden light and whispered a name they had never heard, Kara. In the council hall, the surviving elders stood before the shattered command core, watching their systems rewrite themselves into peace protocols. Even Admiral Varen's last surviving message flickered one final time before vanishing into light. And on Titan, alone among the ruins, Elias stood under the strange new dawn. The sky above him glowed not orange, not blue, but gold. He smiled faintly, whispering, "You did it." A voice answered, soft, gentle, from nowhere and everywhere at once. "No, Elias, we did." He closed his eyes, letting the warmth of her light touch his face. And as the first new sun rose over Saturn's rings, the galaxy itself began to heal. No one called it victory, no one called it defeat. They called it the new dawn. A moment when a human and an alien rewrote the meaning of existence. Not through power, or war, or fear, but through connection.